afternoon. Um, Super excited to be here. So my name is Ademurayo Apara, popularly known as Mo. I like the name, and it's Mo with the double O. So when you address me as Mo or you write something for me and you want to write Mo, please ensure that the double O is there, clear. I mean, it has a nice feel. I am a mother of 2, happily married to Mr. Okoyemi Apara. He's unavoidably absent. My heart choke. Gosh. He's the one that gets me to be emotional. I don't get emotional easily until I'll gist you guys later again. Recently, my leaders then did something for me, sent me a gift, and one of the culprits is here. You see her, you meet her. As in, I don't know how they did it. As in, that one got me. As in, it really got me. I see myself as a hard babe. I can be hard. Sometimes I'm gentle too, but hey, it's what it is. So I'm thankful for my husband. I think that perhaps if I didn't marry him, I may not be doing what I'm doing today. It's a journey of submission, and we will get to it. So when God said to me that this year you've got to marry, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm not dating anybody. How will I marry? I said, where is the guy going to come from? I felt really upset, with God. When God gives you an instruction, you're wondering, how would these things be? I can imagine how Mary felt when God said to her that you shall be with child. She'll be looking like, I mean, it was, but for me, I was angry. Maybe because I was at a point in my life where I had gotten, I'd said to God, you know what? I take off my list. I was very choosy. As in, I had spec. You don't meet that spec, no way. So I wasn't seeing it, and I'd gotten frustrated. I was angry. And I then said to God that, okay, you know what? So I take this list off the table. Give me what you want to give me. I mean, so it's your choice now. You give me. I'm not putting any conditions. You know the way we write those conditions. And then, after we had that conversation, it then comes with an instruction. So this year, whatever you do, make sure you get married. I'm like, we had a conversation. You haven't answered me. How do I marry those things? But God is a God of planning. And so I met my husband that same year, April that year. I did not recognize him. And we'll speak about that. I did not recognize him as my husband. So, there are 2 things. You can meet somebody and not see them in the way that you should see them. For many people, your husband is around you, but is in friend zone. Is in just my brother in church zone. Do you understand? There is a scene that you need. There is an unveiling that needs to happen. And many people are in that place. So the person that should be your husband, that you should be seen as your husband, is just, it's just my brother in church. Or she's just a sister in church. And be, God, please. And God goes, I've answered you. Hold your own. Find your own. Let another person's own not be attractive to you. Which is what happens now. You just see somebody's calling. It looks glamorous. It looks good. Is that type I want. Meanwhile, God has given you your own. You say, no, this one is not good. It's not fine. But that's the one that you have been graced for. Okay, God will help us in Jesus' name.
Amen. In everyone, I would say that in everyone, God has put a vacuum there that only He can fill. And the way He has done it, there is a manual for life. Whether we like it or not, whether we like it or not, He has to be in the picture. But when we refuse for Him to be in the picture, we do it by ourselves. And whatever it is that we do will not necessarily be right. What I'm saying is this. To have that perfect will, as in the perfect person for you, you have to be in God's will. To To be in God's will, we cannot but be spiritual. Do you understand me? If we are doing things on our own, we take full responsibility for whatever it is that we find. Sometimes we get lucky, sometimes we don't. You can, by luck, get somebody that you, the two of you, can work it out, or you may not get it. But if you intend to get that perfect will of God for you, or for that perfect person, you cannot but be spiritual.
And I like how she started, that there is a vacuum for everyone. Now, God did not create us, right, to be dependent on ourselves. He says that he created man and put his breath inside him. Which is why I said at first that when I was talking about myself, that God created us in his own image, for himself, for his glory. Now, I don't want you to mix up spirituality and religiosity, because people do usually interchange that. Now, everybody is spiritual, whether you like it or not. Because why? You are a spirit that lives in a body that has a soul. So, whether you are now aware of your spirituality is another matter. Do you see? Everybody is spiritual. What happens is that our spirituality has been dulled out. That is the flesh that is, so exaggerated, and it just seems like, but you're a spirit. What is it? And I love the analogy that Apostle Selman, that if you go to the mortuary today and you say there's a what's it called? Somebody that was a lawyer, somebody that was a carpenter, they're both dead. What will you call them? Dead bodies. Do you understand? What is responsible for how you address them when they are alive? It's the spirit. Do you understand? So this body is not who you are. It's just a container that carries you around. We need to understand that this thing that is just your access here is what gives you legitimate rule on the earth. But what is the thing that defines who you are? Do you say he's a dead lecturer or he's a dead professor? No, he's a dead man. He becomes dead man. But when he's alive and he shows up, President Kiniko, when he gets to the mortuary, everybody dead. So when you are thinking of yourself, don't think in terms of this body that you carry. This one is just a casing that God has given you to be able to fulfill the purpose that he has given that spirit inside of you to do here. One. Now, so number two, if then we are all spirits, it means that God, and you know that God is spirit, is established in the Bible. It says God is spirit, and those that worship him must worship him in truth. And he's spirit. He's spirit. I love Dusin's song. It says father to son, spirit to spirit. You've got to remove that mentality of it's my fine face, or it's my. Your body is the tool that God depends on for you to be able to do what you need to do here. Why do you think when and none of us watch African Magic very well, when these evil people want to perpetrate something, why do you think the spirits would be looking for a body to enter? Because spirits don't have legitimate access here. Do you see? So you are a spirit and you are spiritual. Now, do you know that you are spiritual? Is a question that people then need to answer. Many people or many human beings are not aware of their spirituality. We are aware of our body and the soul because we can think, we can reason. I mean, you can take decisions. So we are a lot of us are mostly aware of the soul, and your soul is not your spirit. Your spirit is actually the Spirit of God that's put inside of you. Do you see? That's your soul, where you then take decisions. Because he said he created man, put his spirit on him, but gave him free will. So man could take a choice. He could make choices. In the Garden of Eden, God created Adam and said, oh yeah, name them. He said it was whatever Adam, I beg your pardon, called everything that was created, that it was called. That is the power, to exercise rule and domain here. Same thing that each one of us, we have. God's Spirit is there, constantly speaking to you, because you cannot silence the Spirit of God. You can only choose not to hear it or ignore it. Do you understand? So you are spiritual. Do you allow yourself to be led by that Spirit? Yes or no? That's the question. Do you see? So not that we are not led, not that we do not have the Spirit. We've got it, but we don't listen. So we allow our intellect, our mind to say, she works in a good place, she earns well, she's able to support me financially. We reason it out. What we are saying is that you allow that deposit of the Spirit of God inside you have rule over the mind. Because mind can look at it and say, and the mind is short-sighted, your mind is rude, it takes information from your senses, your eyes, the way you feel, the way you say, but when you smell nice, it can be the reason why some people, it does not smelling nice. It's not looking, your senses, your soul is guided by your senses, but your spirit isn't, because it can see through. Do you understand? So what we're saying is, allow the Spirit of God that everybody has. The most wicked person has the Spirit of God. Trust me. He's got it. Does he allow it to rule him? Is the question. So because God has given us that free will, many people, we give reign to the soul. It takes charge. We can think, we decide. But we've got the Spirit. So, for the decision to get married, and spirituality is not religiosity, it's not going to church, is being aware that the Spirit of God is inside of me. He speaks to me. Do I hear it? In fact, I can tell you for free that we all hear. What we don't do is listen. And it won't strive for man for long. So when it comes to, I think you should do this thing. That nagging, it just comes and tells you. It won't be shouting. You want to pay attention to it. So what we are saying is that everyone has a duty to develop your ability to hear God clearer. So before you take any step, you are waiting and asking, God, are you here? Should I go ahead? It's not that your faculties are redundant, you will not use it. No, you will. Because God gave you the faculties. You will see. You see it. But you can see somebody who is not looking, doesn't look anything like what you feel that you want, and God tells you that there is something here. Meanwhile, what you are seeing with your eyes is not it. But the Spirit of God will tell you there's something here. So you wait until that thing manifests, because you can't see it with your eyes. But the potential that is inside, God can see it. So you don't want to take those decisions by yourself, meaning your own intellect. Yes, sure, once I'm done. So you have the responsibility to grow your ability to hear God, is where I'm going. You must seek God. I said at the beginning that your time of being single is time to run after God. Seek God with all that you have. So when you can hear Him, that's the foundation. Now some people, they found God, they've heard Him. but they will now not develop all the other skills. There's a skill to be able to go out and talk to a woman that God has shown you is the woman. There's that one. Yeah, you are laughing. It's the truth. We will get there. Do you understand? But where he begins is that you would hear him as he leads you. That ability to hear God is for you to develop. One of the reasons why we see many failed marriages is because people get into marriage on their own whims, based on principles and standards that is not of God, for reasons that do not glorify God. Now, people get married because of connection. People get married for political alliances. Some people get married because the guy has money. Some people get married because the guy is just fine. He has gap teeth. I don't understand. How do we do these things? Matters of destiny. Hey, Jesus. Matters of life and death because you have gap teeth. Ha. Somebody that can have accident and the gap will close. So where is the gap? No, so I'm not saying. But it's reality. Which is why people that marry fine girls, she's so pretty, her skin is so kiniko. She now has children. Hormonal imbalance now finish her. She now start. Do you understand? The guy is now looking and saying, no, this is not what I marry you. Do you get? It can't be because of those things. So that you have fresh skin and you are looking great today as single doesn't mean that after you have children you don't know what's going to happen. So it can't be because of those things. Because despite those things, there's still value there. And the only way that you can be focused on the value is when your decisions are guided by the right things. Do you understand? Is it clear? Has this helped you? You want to say something?
I want to say that there is an analogy that came to mind.
Okay.
There was a time I was driving. I had my destination in mind. This is where I am going. This is my starting point, right? Still addressing you and everybody at the same time, right? And then going by the fact that it was not a new route, I already had and then because it was doing 1 hours, was going with the driver when time was doing that lot of things to do and everything. Okay, I decided in my mind, why not let's consult Google? I'm telling you a story here actually. And then we use Google. And it was a totally different route. You know, when we arrived, we realized that if we are taking the regular route that I had in mind, it was taking us longer to get there. Now, on that very day, something came to my mind. I can stop with me. As she was speaking, it just came back. When she was saying that to be allow the Spirit of God to control us, to direct our thoughts, to direct our actions. On that very day, I know where I'm going. At least most of us would say that we want to fulfill purpose, we want to fulfill destiny. How do we do that if we don't ask the person who knows the way? Shebi, we are all youths here now, Abby. Now who's Sabi road was supposed to follow? Yes, so not be so. Now who's Sabi road was supposed to follow now? So the person who's Sabi road not follow up, they follow your mind. How you want to reach there now? How? Do you get? So that I realized that we need actually to, because to me God speaks to, like she was saying, God speaks to us in diverse ways. You can actually be looking at someone, from when the person is talking, you are getting a totally different message. It's dropping in your spirit. How do you even hear it? If you don't, because another thing to actually know how God speaks is to spend more time in His presence. Someone once asked me, there was them I was in some speech, I've always got from listening to digression, and she asked me, how do you know if God is speaking to you? Even though before that day I not thought about it, but I realized that the answer that came to me was, if I've spent so much time with you, why would I know if you speak to me? Do you understand what I'm saying? If I spend a long time with Stab, if I've spent so much time with her, I don't need to see her face. Just hearing her voice, I know she's more speaking. I just know. Like some number, I don't talk to you, I hear you speaking with me, you call me up one day with a different number, I don't know. I'll try to, use everyday life story to make my point. You get? So it's very key, number one, to please spend more time with God, because it makes us more open to know when He's speaking. And when you hear a strange voice, something else is speaking, or somebody else is speaking to you, you will know instantly, because your spirit will not just align, you will just not agree. So in essence, now who's a big role? Yeah? It's supposed to do. Do you know that it's not only for marriage that you need to hear God?
Absolutely.
Because
For matters of life.
Single, somebody told me, he said, okay, you know these single meetings, all of you, it's when you want to choose partner. Like you have asked God, speak to me. Oh, I want to hear your voice. How about every other area of your life?
Yeah.
Because it's very key. You want to put money somewhere. Okay, let me tell you something. Recently, somebody told me, this platform will 2 years, 10% monthly standard every month to get your money. Now I'm thinking, if I do calculation, permutation, combination, I will have so and so by so and so time. Hey, I don't reach for that, I don't want to jackpot. But then again, I had this constraint in my spirit to do anything. And I was struggling, there's money. How can I not see? Who does not see? Who sees and ability to make money?
Good opportunity.
But there was this constraint in my spirit to do it. How do you hear God? It's not every time that you hear it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going. If you spend enough time with Him, you will know. Alright? And then eventually, because of pressure and everything, I just put small money there. Let me try it. Like Kalu. The thing was paying. Let me put more. As I put more, everything it just hang. I logged into the block for one day and it was gone. Everything. Now, before that time, I knew in my spirit. So there was no crying to God. You understand? The mommy said, don't touch this, don't touch that farm, don't touch it. You say, I just want to see what is there. And you say, you see, mommy, it didn't hurt me. Mommy said, don't go there. Say, it didn't hurt me. The third time you put your finger, the thing wiped off, and then it's bloody. Wait, even you, your own conscience self, will tell you.
You will cry.
There's no need to cry.
You will cry the cry. You will cry the cry.
And go and handle it. You understand? You will cry by yourself.
You will cry the
cry. You will cry for anybody.
Another phase of growing, because it's a journey. I didn't remember to say that marriage is not a destination. Marriage is a journey. It's not one place that you have to go to and say yes. Now you have collected this one. You have collected your certificate. You have collected your certificate before you enter. So the journey is continuous until Jesus says, "Now you can come back home." So it's a journey. You will continue to grow. You continue to mature. You continue to evolve. The different sides of you that you didn't see, that is embedded inside. Remember the analogy of the spirit seeing what is not even in existence, that is still going to come, because it's just what you are seeing now that you know. But when you then allow the spirit to say, no, stay here, there is purpose here for you, as the person begins to evolve also. Yeah, okay. Thank God for making this decision. Do you understand? So there's so many areas that we need to focus on, but we've got to give God permission to work on us and prepare us for that person. So that's why, so write your ideal relationship that will lead to marriage, your ideal marriage, the ideal man for you, the ideal woman. So who should the ideal opposite for this person be? Am I that person? And truthfully start to say to yourself, some people know that, hey, which man will be able to, you've got to be able to tell yourself the truth. So that you highlight those things and trust God to walk you through it. So that by the next time we have another hangout, see this one thing. So even if it's one thing, do you understand? Don't work on so many things at the same time. One thing, just one thing like this. God, if it's anger is a problem. There's nobody that wants to sit around an angry person. The Bible says that it's better sometimes when you want to go and sit at the corner of a room and stay in the house with a woman that's always angry and very contentious. Do you understand? And when you are overtly angry, you're a good person, but that anger, so you've got to identify these things and say, God, you need to take this away. So as you prepare for the person, or the one, as you become the one who the Father has prepared, it's a conscious effort that we take. Many people don't do this until they're in marriage. We've got a great opportunity to do it now, so that the journey is a lot smoother when we then get to it. Does this make sense to you? I mean, if not because of the way time, I would have spent some time actually thinking through and writing. Do you see? What I mean is, what's in my life right now that you are going to guys put a brand new and start to say, God, this one you need to drop it. Because truly you desire it. And please don't disdain me. Married. If you are not, I'm not interested. Don't say it if you are interested, except you are not interested and you want to be enough and you have the place to not marry, like my little son had. Don't say it. It's true. Don't say it. I say, well, I'm not interested. You are. You are giving up. Meanwhile, when you now enter the house, when are you going to answer me? God, just say, as you are contradicting. So God is looking at you and saying, which one do I want to pick? You just said, Komata. Now you're coming here, you're saying, Montas. Which one? So let our prayers be consistent before God. And the declarations that you make, knowing that God has created you in His own image, is preparing you, is purposed that this season in your life would happen to prepare you for where you are going. Remember where we started? Be grateful for this season. Be grateful for it. Don't see it as a disadvantage. Don't see it as something to be shameful about. No, don't. Look at it and thank God and say, God, thank you that you've caused me to wait this long so that I can get wisdom for the journey. It's preparing you so that the mistakes that people make and jump in and jump out, it will not be you because you are grounded. So please, don't forget anything that we have learned today. You've got to start with God. And this season in your life that it seems like you're waiting, take it with joy. Discover the things that give you passion, that give you happiness, that makes you you. Find the expression